style,
a lot of
hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos.
in the difficulty. There's a lot of inconvenience for sure. Drama is present. Even perhaps toxicity is apparent at times. Maybe it's not always like friendships where you're able to have those deep, real conversations, because for some reason family always feels a bit more fragile, at least in my experience. And I've been thinking for some time, why is that? Why is it so tender? Why can't we, open up to really explore why certain things are the way they are, to deepen our relationships with one another? I've had some strained connections in my family for some time, and I want to say they became that way because of my desire to repair certain, disparities or misunderstandings, and hopefully make that connection more profound and reliable, because I think that's what the essence of friendship and family can be, but oftentimes it doesn't quite reach that point because we can't let go of our own fears, insecurities, or even regrets to some degree. Even our I forget the word, but our tendencies to hang on to bad energy, grudges. Yeah, grudges. So, with all that, it's difficult, more so, if anything, to bring up these types of conversations. Once they're going, once you open the door, it's probable that it can keep flowing, but you have to have the courage to start, and that can put a lot of eyes on you, a lot of tension on you that's not so pleasant. Being the person that wants to open those doors, it's not always easy because you might be perceived as somebody that's starting something, or that's fiending for attention in the wrong way, even if that's not necessarily the case. But that's what it takes to be able to initiate. And people go years without initiating. They can hold on to stuff for years without finally opening up and talking about it. Whether it was a friend that you lent money to that never paid you back, or a family member that said something to you years ago that you never were able to get over, or your parents didn't make it to one of your events and you never forgave them, but you also never brought it up. You either held on to that negative energy, or you pretended like nothing ever happens and that it didn't affect you. And in either case, that's not healthy, because you are avoiding a conversation that needs to be had, and you can't expect the other person to bring it up because maybe there's a lot of possibilities about this. Maybe they don't know that it affects you that deeply. Maybe they don't know how to bring it up on their end. Maybe they would rather forgive and forget, let live. Maybe they don't even know, they don't even care about this type of emotional depth that you are considering. Because it's true that some people don't even think, that profoundly about these things. and would rather not, because it takes a lot of mental energy, and perhaps it's not worth it for a lot of people. You can't really blame them, because there's already a lot to worry about in life. But at the same time, somebody has to be the person to bring it up first if you want to get over it for yourself. So I think I'm that type of person that will always bring it up. Unfortunately, because I can't live without trying, and I can't act fake. I can't pretend like nothing happens, and I also can't just go on with this lingering desire to make it right, you know, and trying to drive.
In about 10 miles, take exit 21 onto State Road 39A and Buckman Highway.
But yeah, I mean, why should you let this hang over your life forever? Of course, you can just pretend and you can reduce it in your mind, but it will always linger, it will always fester, it'll always be there. Maybe if that other person eventually meets their demise, you'll realize that you never had that opportunity because you never took it to try to reconcile your differences with that person. And family does take a lot of reconciliation, a lot of forgiving, and a lot of self-appreciation, because they can't provide you everything. A lot of what you need is already inside of you to discover, and the family helps in many cases to bridge that gap, to support and to let you, you know, kind of bloom in your own way. You're not going to get along with everybody. You're not going to be best friends with every single family member. Some may never check on you. Some may never call you. Some may never express any interest in your dreams, ambitions, and your passions. You may put days, months, etc. into supporting and pushing, you know, and even being engaged and interested in the voices of, you know, your family. But it is possible that you won't get that same level of attention back. And you can't let that break you, because it's not something that you can always expect, because people are different, and maybe you are an individual that just provides a certain level of passion in the world, in those little details that other people can't quite match. So if it is something that you feel especially desirable, then try to find that in other places, and use family to fill perhaps any additional space that you already have set aside. Mostly, the majority of what you need should come from you, and you should be able to provide for yourself, because you're human. But family can fill in that extra 5-10%, maybe in some cases it's more, you know, and of course when you're feeling low, maybe they can fill in your battery a little bit. And that's not to say that it can't be different from person to person, family to family, but in my experience, the emotional support that I needed in my life, I definitely had to learn how to get from my own person, and I had to learn how to everybody, of course, but certain individuals, even if they're not motivated to meet me where I am, I will always try to meet them where they are, younger or older, because I can see the value, and I know that those impacts will extend far beyond me. You know, it's not just about how I feel, it's about this idea of how much can you give that will trickle into other places of life, you know? So a lot of family requires being the type of person that would be a part of the ideal family that you have in your minds. And maybe you can create that one day, but life itself necessitates that you create that for yourself first, and then try to fill in other gaps or spaces with maybe things that you want. You first take care of your needs, and then your wants can come perhaps from your family or from what you are able to also develop in the future. So yeah, it's not easy, and it's not for the faint of heart if you want to have fulfilling, positive relationships that feel genuine and rich. If you want surface level, if you want seeing each other once every few years, just laughing, but don't really catch up, don't really talk that much, then that's okay. That's what you have with most people, you know? Most people won't, you know, fly out to see you. They won't, you know, try to reach you and check on how you're doing. And that's okay, because, you know, it's not for everybody. And we're all absorbed in our own worlds, so you can't necessarily expect that same level from every individual person, because a lot of people are self-absorbed. So yeah, that kind of brings me full circle. And you know, sometimes you just gotta toughen up a little bit and don't wear your emotions on.
In 2 miles, take exit 21 onto State Road 39A and Buckman Highway.
Alright, thank you, GPS. Don't always wear your emotions on your sleeve, because, you know, it's good to be somebody that's compassionate and caring, but you don't want to get debilitated by all these thoughts and feelings that you have, because you still have to take care of yourself, and you have your own life that needs to be, you know, nurtured and grown, and those dreams that you have will need to be fostered by whatever vision that you have for yourself, and not the vision that your family has for you. So, with that being said, hope that's helpful to somebody. You know, I'm kind of mixing in some of my own experiences, but I actually think that that could be useful information for somebody out there. And I'm on the way to go visit more family, so I'll just keep it in mind myself. So, take care if you're watching this video, and if you resonated with it, definitely click the subscribe button and check out some of my future stuff. And with that, take care, and I'll